is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Very excited to have Rick back on the channel. Today he's going to give us a full tour of his Ford Transit all-wheel drive camper conversion, and I challenge you to find the hidden toilet and hidden shower while we're giving the tour. So join us.
Hey Patrick, thanks for having me on your channel again. And this is my newest creation, a 2024 Ford Transit all-wheel drive with the EcoBoost engine. It's got all the bells and whistles and it drives like a dream. I just drove it yesterday from Maine on down to here in New Jersey, where I'll be here for a few days, and then the van will be taken down to Pawleys Island, South Carolina, where it'll be put up for sale. I didn't want to have the van in the Maine winters with the salt and the freezing, so Pawleys Island's a nice place. So come on aboard and we'll give you a tour of the van. It's an awesome vehicle. Okay, up front, this van is very unique in several ways from Ford. It took me a long time to try to source this van. I actually had to go down to Baltimore where I found it because I wanted several parameters. I wanted the all-wheel drive, as I said, and I wanted the EcoBoost engine, and I wanted a cargo van. To try to get all those things together in one package was very difficult. This van is also unique in the fact that it has dual alternators, dual high-put alternators, a inverter under the seat here with 110 outlets and 12-volt USB all over, so it's independent. It's got two 100-amp batteries under the driver's seat. Lights all around, so it's got its own electrical system separate from the system that I installed. So you almost have a backup. Very unique from Ford. And I wanted the factory alternators and just how clean everything was put in. So it took me a while to source the van, but I got it. It's got, like I said, everything up front, very nicely done, and it drives like a champ. The van comes with the two Alpine mechanism seat swivels, which are very nice. It gives you the ability to rotate the seats without having to open the doors. Alpine mechanism did a really nice job in engineering them. So that was one of the very first things I put in. I put in a laminate flooring, which is very nice. I like the color combination because it goes very nice well with the aluminum and all the poplar wood that I used in the build. Over here, we've got your Lagoon table, which can rise up or down. It can swing around over to this side if you want to use it as a cooktop, or you can lower it down for your laptop. I put in two mounting brackets, so it gives you a greater mobility of height and depth, as well as adding structural strength. Sometimes with one mounting bracket, it just tweaks it a little bit too much. Also over in this corner, you've got a 110 outlet and a USB outlet here. All of the wiring, the components, is all marine grade stuff. So it's all Anchor wiring and lugs. It's all Blue Sea fuses and breakers. So it's top of the line tin copper wire, top of the line stuff that's from the marine industry. I lived aboard a sailboat for 11 years, was a commercial fishing captain for 7 years in Alaska. So I'm pretty familiar with the marine applications and getting quality products to use in a van build. And Anchor does some of the best. I put these nice tweed, it's called charcoal tweed, all around, everywhere. We covered up these engineer blocks, which you have to keep in because of they're structural for the airbag. So you don't want to cut those out because that changes the engineering structure of the airbag. And I think the airbag is probably one of the things you don't want to change the structural engineering of. Okay, up here, we've got some upper cabinets. Very basic, easy to slide. Very lightweight, nice spacious cabinets. You've got under the cabinet dimmable lighting here on both cabinets. So on the starboard and port side, we've got dimmable lighting. So same with here. We've got very similar cabinet design with the 80/20, which adds a very nice texture to it, and it adds the strength and rigidity. I like the way it looks. It's a real clean look. This is what George, who I work for each year for a few months, calls the avocado shelf. So you put avocados up there. I'll let him tell that story. Okay, the ceiling is one of my favorite parts about the build. It's Western cedar, and behind the cedar is thin slit, 2 layers of thin slit throughout the whole van. I like to have everything accessible, and I like to have a lot of airflow around all the components. So that's why it's set up like this, and I think it looks really sharp. These are the factory lights that are running off the two 100-amp batteries under the seat. So it gives you another option. You have your lights that are independent of the build that I did, provided by Ford, and those are LED lights, so it opens up a lot of possibility. Over here on the galley side, you've got a 110 outlet here. It will have a conduction cooktop, which I haven't got yet. You've got the very nice Ravati sink, which is very deep. And you've got your faucet, which you can swing around if you wanted to use outside to take a shower or wash your bike. All of the countertops are Corian solid surface countertops, 1/2 inch thick, very nice, and you can service them if they get scratched or something. You can sand them out. The cabinets are all marine grade hardware, all solid plywood. You're not going to find any particle board or anything like press board in this build at all. Everything's solid plywood. So you got 1, 2, a very deep one. There's all your manuals. And 3, the one down here, the bottom one. So you got 3 on that side, and you've got a very large one over here, which is currently my workspace when it's finishing up this build, but a very nice cabinet. Over here, under the galley, we've got 2 doors, and the galley will have a 6-gallon gray water tank. Now, what's going to happen with that? I have to finish this. There'll be a T here where you can either go out directly to the ground, or you can divert it into the 6-gallon tank and then manually empty that. While we're in here, you can see the 2.4-gallon Bosch hot water heater, which is an AC 110 as well. This is designed so this can be serviceable. So if you need to take it out for winter or something, it's very easy to do. It'll come right out of here. And if you want to dump it out, it's very easy. That's something to think about. So the doors, the hinges are self-closing. There we go. Very, very nice. Okay, over here is one of my favorites. I love to cook, so I have to have cooking things. So over here is one of my prime jewels of the build. It's an Isotherm refrigerator. And let me explain about why I choose an Isotherm refrigerator. I lived aboard a sailboat 11 years full time, and we had 2 Isotherm units on the boat. They ran almost 11 years straight nonstop, and my daughter at the time was younger. She used to think they were air conditioning units and leave the door open, so they got a lot of use. So it's well worth the money, and it's a quality build. It's a quality piece of equipment. You got there's a small freezer here, and 3 shelves, and a produce thing down at the bottom. It's got the stainless steel. This is not plastic. It's actual stainless steel finish. As we come up here, we got more Corian. We've got a 700-watt microwave, which is quite nice. And we've got some storage cabinets here and up here. Spices, salad dressings, mayonnaise, whatever you want to store, but it's nice little storage facilities up there. And over here, we've got our control panel. You've got your SFAR heater controller, you've got your battery monitor, you've got your inverter controller, and you've got 3 sets of breakers for AC and 3 sets of breakers for DC. So I specifically put things on a breaker, like specifically the water pump. The water pump's important. You don't want to have your water pump going all the time. The water pump should only be on when you're using it, on and off when you're not. Otherwise, you can come back and you may have a flood of vans. So that's very important. And so you got your water pressure, your refrigerator, and then there's a heater. That's the water tank heater. So if it's cold, I have a tank heater that will, if you flip that on, and it's got a thermostat, will automatically sense when it gets below 40 degrees, it's going to kick on, and it will keep your water tank from freezing. And then your AC breakers, you've got your microwave, your outlets, and then the water heater. That's the water heater, the Bosch water heater that you saw under there. This is your control panel. Everything in the van is accessible, and what I mean by that, for service, because you have to service stuff. Stuff's going to break. It's not a question of if it's going to break, it's when is it going to break. So I made this so it's serviceable. It's attached by magnets, and I've got to clean up the wiring a little bit, but it's serviceable, and that's what you want. And then you just put it right back in, and it's on there. Those magnets are super tight. Here we've got the MaxxAir Deluxe fan with the remote for the forward area, and in the back we've got the Lumar marine grade hatch, which gives you accessibility to the outside. You can sit up there and watch sunset. It's really nice. You got your solar panels up there, and it's got the slides. You've got your blackout and your screen. So you can access the solar panels to clean them. It's mostly to sit out there and watch the sunset. It's pretty nice. When you got the heater going, you can sit up there, and the heat rises up in the evenings, and you stay nice and warm, and bring a blanket up there, and it's great. Another thing we have in the Max Air fan is built in is the serviceability and pre-wired for AC and DC air conditioning. And in the back, as you see when we get back to the after the garage, what everybody calls the garage area, I have made room for another battery. So if you want to put another battery and increase your amp hours, we'll talk about the batteries when we get back there, but it's serviceable, giving you the options if you want to add air conditioning or not. Trying to keep the price down, so as soon as you add air conditioning, that really bumps up the price because you need more batteries, you need bigger wires, you need, everything. So I tried to get this as cheap as I could for people, for one or two people to enjoy. Let's go to the aft and we'll talk about the bed. To get into the bed, there's a drawer here, which is for storage, but there's also a drawer below it, which has a 300-pound slides on them, storage under there. The SFAR heater's under there, that's not the drawer, it's the SFAR heater. So let me come on up into the bed here, and on the port side, we have, or driver's side, we have a Van Essentials, very nice large storage bag that's got more things than you could imagine to hang things on, to hook things on. It's got a big area here, and then these are two separate storage areas with a shelf between the two of them. So it gives you a lot of options, a lot of options. And if you want, you can take this thing out. And it's got netting under here. It's got stuff on the sides. You could pack this thing for two people with enough stuff to live for the whole year. Over here, you got your Socorro fan that's on a timer. And then again, the tweed, this is a charcoal tweed that we've placed everywhere in very nice panels. And again, there's thin slit behind all this. Over here, you've got a Van Windows Direct window with a screen, allows you access to the outside. And on the passenger side, or the starboard side, we have two not puck lights, but two reading lights, and they have USB outlets underneath them. It's got a 6-inch memory foam mattress that's really nice. Okay, before we head out the back, this is a cellular shade which gives you access to the back. So it's very easily comes off. Boom, you're out of there. Now you have access to the back. If you want to put kayaks or ski, surfboards or whatever, it gives you the full length of the entire van. So that's nice. And then you can put it down if it's cold and you want to just heat this part. You can just heat this part, or you want to cool this part, you just cool this part. So just comes right back down. Okay, I showed you all the nooks and crannies in the living area or the front part of the van, except for one area, actually 1.5 area. Right here is the toilet and quote-unquote shower. So for the shower, we remove the porta potty. We've got a nice teak shower pan here, and you've got a stainless steel pan with a drain that drains to a 6-gallon, I think it's 6 or 7-gallon gray water tank located under the van. Okay, so where's the rest of the shower? Well, here's a new innovation that you probably haven't seen in many vans. Right here, we open this up. This slides out. We turn like this, and you've got a shower. Now, this shower head's pretty cool. This can be on or off here. It's got a temperature control here and a pressure flow here, so you can really adjust your temperature and your pressure. One thing I'm waiting on is the shower curtain, which will attach via eye hooks here and here. It's a custom shower curtain, and it will extend down into the shower pan, giving you a very nice shower combination. All right, let's head around back. I gotta say, Patrick, that today is one of the nicest days. We've done this in the past, and it's either been nor'easters or 11 degrees, or it's raining, or branches are falling on it. Today is absolutely gorgeous. The van came with no windows, so I installed 5 windows from Van Windows Direct to give it more of a home-like feel. Okay, the back of the van, as I said, it's an all-wheel drive EcoBoost. So let's have a look, see what we got in here. Okay, all the components are Victron. So you've got your Victron Multi Plus 2, 3,000 watt inverter charger, can handle 2 legs of 110. So if you did want to put a 110 AC in, you've got the power and the capability to do that right there. Over here, you've got your Epic 460 amp hour battery. It's got an internal battery monitoring system as well as an internal heater. Above the Epic battery, we have the MPPT Victron solar controller. And then forward of that, this is unique to really the past year, are the Orion XS. They provide 50 amps of power into the batteries, maxing out at 100 amps of power going into the battery. So, and they don't get hot. That's a big thing. Compared to the heat size of the older Orion, these game changer, absolutely game changer. So anytime that you start up the engine, it automatically will start to charge the batteries. Everything's communicating via Bluetooth because it's all Victron components. You've got your Lynx distributor. You've got, I put this in, I haven't done this before, but this is an isolation breaker so I can isolate the Blue Sea 12-volt distribution panel if I want to service it without having to shut off the whole system. So I can maybe, it just makes it more sense. You got your master on-off switch here. Over here, you've got another USB. You've got your lights for the garage. There'll be 4 lights in the garage. You got your, this is very important, fire extinguisher. Over here is your shore power breaker. This material is actually the same material that Ford used in the van, and I resourced it or second sourced it, and because it's light and it looks good, and it fits into the 80/20 quite nicely. Again, these are doors that will keep everything, all the electronics. I like to keep all the electronics visible. I like to have everything so you can see if there's a problem. I don't want it behind something. So it was important for me to have that visibility. Here we have your bed for the ATV ramps, which provide a very light and not very thick, very strong bed platform. We also have a massive tray that's multi-purpose. You can get forks mounts for bicycles. You can get straps that attach with the hooks here because it's all L-track. You can put a cooler here. You could put a table here. You could make it a platform. Multi-purpose. Very, very, very strong. Can handle a lot of weight. Okay, over on the port side, passenger side, we've got our water system and our water tank. You've got a 24-gallon Northwest Conversions over-the-wheel water tank. You've got Jabsco water pump. All the fittings are PEX copper, not the PEX crimp. And you've got your feeds into the sink, and then back leaning aft, back here, you've got a outdoor shower, which you can use to shower out here or rinse off your mountain bike. This clicks in hot and cold for the exterior use. And if you need to drain the water system, it's very simple. I design all my vans so everything's gravity drained. You hook the half-inch hose up here, it goes right out the back, boom, you're draining. There's also an access hatch here from the marine industry, so you have accessibility to clean out the inside of the tank. It's a double purpose because in my past vans, I'd have a water feed and all these pipes going in for a hose to go in. And I was like, well, why do all that? I can just open this up and stick the hose in there and fill the tank. The shore power out here will handle 30 amp shore power. The van comes with a 30 amp shore power cord. Again, the nice van windows, direct windows, very dark tinted windows. Okay, the last tidbit of information, which Patrick's been wondering about, is this awning. And I'm pretty impressed. I'm a kite surfer and a windsurfer, so this comes from the kite surfing and mostly windsurfing world. And we'll take it out. So if you're a kite surfer, you're familiar with setting these things up, filling them up because it came from the Hood River area. The company Day Lodge is from the Hood River area where they make a lot of kite surfing kites. So there's reason I didn't want, to be honest, awnings in the past, I put tules on and Fiamas and stuff. I just don't use an awning that much. And I don't like having it stick out the side of the van. It reduces your gas mileage. They're expensive. When it's windy, they're an issue. This doesn't addresses all those problems. Okay, it can attach one of two ways. There we go. Okay, that didn't take much longer than rolling out an awning. And it's light. If it's windy, it's not going to wreck your stuff. You can use it either sliding on the door, or you take these two suction cups, you put one here, you put one here. You can attach the awning to those, and you'd have the awning right here. So it can be on the door or there. Okay, how long does it take to deflate? Okay, if you're rolling up your awning, you're rolling up your awning, you're probably still rolling it. You gotta pull the legs in, you gotta untelescope the legs, this. Back in the bag.
All-wheel drive and EcoBoost. I don't know what could be better than that. Now, I'll put links in the description once you're listing this for sale, so our viewers could check out the ad.
Yeah.
Do you have any other things you want to tell the viewers?
It's a great van to drive. It's the high quality. I really enjoyed building it. I really enjoy building these things, and I try to innovate and create new things and make quality products for people. If you're interested, I build one each year in Maine. So if you're interested in my next, it's one slot build per year, and it's only in the summer. So I start building in May. I try to get the vans out of there this time of the year before the weather gets inclement.
That's awesome. And any feedback on this, this versus the other ones were all Sprinters?
Yeah, my other two vans are Sprinter diesels. This one has got some oomph to it. It's got some nice power to it. It gives you the flexibility of having it serviced at any Ford dealership in the country. It drives like a charm, and it's a very, very nice van. I'm pretty impressed with what Ford's done.
That's awesome, because I have a Ford van. Mine's 4x4. I get the V10 engine. I get 7 miles per gallon.
Oh, I'm 17. I'm 17.
There
yeah.
you go, 17 miles per gallon.
And it's not broken in yet, so I'm not sure if that's probably going to get a little bit better as it gets broken. It gets broken in.
And one thing that really stood out to me, because I'm always impressed with what you do, is the fact that you pre-wired for AC or DC air conditioning. That way, if down the road someone ever wanted to add it, boom, you just take it.
Yeah, it's important. It's got 2-aught wire for the DC, and then I added a leg for the negative if you do go AC. So it's got the 2-aught for the DC, so it can handle, it's heavy gauge wire. And then I added that third leg, so if you do decide to go AC, you have that ability too as well.
Well, there you go. And most air conditioners use the same 14x14 holes.
That max air fan hole is standard 14 inches by 14 inches.
And one other thing is the solar panel is spaced far enough back that way it won't interfere.
Yeah, we didn't mention there are two 100-watt solar panels up on the roof too, providing your solar.
Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.